Imagine a world lost in time, where advanced civilizations flourished with technologies we are only beginning to understand. Could humanity, before the flood, have reached a level of development far beyond what we imagine? And what if these advances were erased from history, buried beneath millennia of water and dust? In this video, we will explore intriguing evidence and theories suggesting a hidden reality, a thriving society with sophisticated knowledge living in a distant era. Get ready to question everything you know about ancient history. What truly happened to this civilization? What secrets might be hidden in the myths of the past? Stay with us and uncover clues that could change your perspective on the true nature of the pre-flood world. To understand the depth of what may have been lost in a cataclysmic event like the flood, we need to start by examining how it is mentioned across cultures worldwide. The story of a great flood, a disaster so devastating it would have wiped out entire civilizations, appears in myths and sacred texts from various traditions, from Mesopotamia to the Americas. But what makes these accounts even more remarkable is their similarity, despite vast geographic and cultural distances. First, in the biblical flood story, perhaps the best known in the Western world, God sees humanity overtaken by corruption and violence and decides to cleanse the earth with an unprecedented flood. He spares only Noah, who is instructed to build an ark to save his family and a pair of each animal species. When the waters recede, Noah and his family become responsible for repopulating the world, marking the beginning of a new era for humanity. This event, which not only wipes out corrupt humanity but also symbolizes moral renewal, suggests the flood had a purpose: to restore order and purity to the world. But this story is not unique. In Mesopotamia, for example, we find the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the oldest texts ever discovered, with a remarkably similar story. In this account, Utnapishtim, the Sumerian hero, is warned by the god Ea about an impending flood meant to destroy all life. Like Noah, Utnapishtim builds an ark and preserves creation, ensuring the continuity of life. This parallel is intriguing not only for the narrative itself but also because it suggests an earlier cultural tradition that may have influenced biblical texts. The Greeks also had their version of this story, with Deucalion and his wife Pyrrha. In this version, the god Zeus decides to destroy humanity due to its corruption and decrees a flood. Deucalion, however, is spared and instructed to build an ark to save his wife. After the waters recede, they are tasked with repopulating the world, becoming the new parents of humanity. In Hindu mythology, the story of Manu and the god Vishnu in the form of a fish also includes a flood. Vishnu warns Manu of the imminent flood and instructs him to build an ark to save species, preserving the cycle of life. Across the world in the Americas, many indigenous cultures have legends of great floods. Some of these stories describe how, in ancient times, a flood destroyed much of the population, but a spiritual leader or ancestor managed to guide some survivors to safety. For the indigenous people of the American plains, for example, there are stories of a savior who led his people to high mountains, where they waited until the waters receded. And in the Pacific Ocean, various island cultures tell stories about submerged islands or a time when water covered the entire world. These stories share more than just the theme of a catastrophic flood. Often, they involve the idea that the flood was not merely a natural tragedy but a form of divine or cosmic judgment. The repetition of this theme suggests a deeply rooted human belief that Earth goes through cycles of destruction and rebirth. For many, the flood symbolizes a kind of cleansing, suggesting that only the just, or the best prepared, survive to usher in a new era for humanity. The universality of these narratives raises a fundamental question: are they purely mythological, or could they have a basis in real events? The answer to this question has profound implications. If such stories reflect historical events, then perhaps there was a period before the flood when advanced civilizations flourished, only to be tragically wiped out. This viewpoint gains traction when we consider certain cataclysmic events documented by science, like the end of the last ice age, around 11,000 years ago, which resulted in a drastic rise in sea levels. If we consider this possibility, the flood narrative becomes even more intriguing. Could it be that in losing these civilizations, we also lost a vast body of knowledge? We might be dealing with fragments of a history in which advanced civilizations, capable of technical and cultural feats that still amaze us today, were destroyed in a short period. This concept, often explored in alternative archaeology, suggests that pre-flood civilizations may have existed with advanced knowledge in areas like architecture, astronomy, and even technology, whose evidence remains buried or submerged. The hypothesis that the flood marks the end of an advanced civilization, not just the end of a primitive era, allows for a new perspective on prehistoric civilizations. It not only opens the door to broader interpretations of our history but also suggests that these ancient peoples might have achieved a level of technological and cultural sophistication that our civilization would only rediscover millennia later. Now that we understand the historical and mythological context surrounding the flood, let's explore the evidence suggesting the existence of technologically advanced civilizations before this event. Over the past decades, archaeologists and researchers have uncovered sites and artifacts that challenge historical chronology, provoking new questions about the true level of advancement of these ancient societies. Each of these discoveries not only intrigues but also makes us reconsider our traditional view of history. One of the most impressive archaeological sites is Göbekli Tepe, located in Turkey and dated to approximately 9600 BC, discovered by chance. This temple complex consists of stone pillars arranged in concentric circles, many of which are carved with animal figures and geometric patterns. What makes Göbekli Tepe so surprising is that, according to conventional chronology, this period marks the beginning of agriculture and sedentary villages. However, the precision and planning evident in Göbekli Tepe's structures indicate an organized society capable of coordinating labor and applying complex technical knowledge. Archaeologists are puzzled. How did these people, supposedly nomadic hunter-gatherers, manage to erect constructions of such magnitude? Another example of impressive pre-flood advancement is the Giza Pyramids in Egypt, particularly the Great Pyramid. Although built thousands of years after Göbekli Tepe, the pyramids are a landmark of ingenuity that raises questions about the techniques and knowledge available at that time. The Great Pyramid, composed of about 2.3 million stone blocks, weighs approximately 6 million tons. It is precisely aligned with geographic north, a feat many experts say is difficult to achieve even with modern technology. How did a society without mechanical equipment or advanced technology cut, transport, and position such heavy stone blocks with such precision? This question continues to intrigue historians and archaeologists, especially considering that even the copper tools of the time could not cut limestone and granite with the accuracy observed. In Bolivia, we have the mysterious site of Puma Punku, part of the Tiwanaku complex. This site is considered one of the most remarkable archaeological enigmas due to the precision with which the stone blocks were cut and fitted together. The stones of Puma Punku, some of which weigh several tons, have angular cuts and joints so perfect that they suggest the use of precision tools. Even more curious is that the stones were carved to fit together like pieces of a giant puzzle, without the need for mortar. Conventional theories cannot explain how these civilizations achieved such precision, given that, officially, they had no access to metal tools or advanced technology. Nabta Playa, another fascinating archaeological site, is located in the Sahara Desert and dates to approximately 7500 BC. This site consists of a stone circle carefully aligned to mark solstices and other astronomical events. The precision of this alignment is surprising, as it requires a detailed knowledge of celestial movements and seasons, indicating that the people of Nabta Playa had a deep understanding of astronomy long before more recognized civilizations like Babylonian or Egyptian. This ability to track the movement of the stars suggests a tradition of observation and mathematical understanding that, until recently, was not thought possible for such ancient societies. Besides these physical structures, artifacts that challenge our understanding of prehistoric technology have also been found. In various parts of the world, metallic objects such as copper and gold alloys, dating back thousands of years before the advent of conventional metallurgy, have been discovered. These findings suggest that these civilizations may have had sophisticated techniques for extracting and manipulating metals, which would require advanced knowledge of chemistry and metallurgy. This level of advancement does not fit within our understanding of technological evolution, raising the possibility that these techniques may have been passed down or rediscovered over centuries. Beyond archaeological discoveries, there is also the astronomical knowledge possessed by these civilizations. Many ancient cultures built monuments aligned with celestial bodies or significant astronomical events. At Stonehenge, for example, the main stones are aligned with the summer solstice, while the pyramids of Giza align with the stars of the Orion constellation. The city of Teotihuacan in Mexico was also designed with a specific astronomical alignment. These coincidences suggest that astronomical knowledge was widespread among ancient civilizations, implying a global tradition of celestial observation and advanced mathematical understanding. These physical and astronomical pieces of evidence lead some researchers to speculate that these civilizations may have had access to a form of knowledge or technology that we consider lost today. An intriguing hypothesis is that these pre-flood peoples could have reached a technological sophistication level that rivals what we have today. Some theories suggest that the tradition of gods bringing knowledge to humanity may actually be a symbolic reference to advanced pre-flood civilizations that influenced later cultures. Another interesting point to consider is the transmission of knowledge between these civilizations and those that formed after the flood. Many ancient peoples had myths and legends that spoke of divine instructors who brought wisdom, science, and culture. In Egyptian tradition, for example, the god Thoth is considered the god of wisdom and sciences, believed to have taught the Egyptians knowledge of the stars, mathematics, and writing. Similarly, in Mesoamerican tradition, Quetzalcoatl is seen as a civilizing figure who brought knowledge of astronomy and agriculture to the people. With so much evidence and so many gaps in traditional understanding, it's hard to ignore the possibility that advanced civilizations truly flourished before the flood, leaving behind fragments of an almost unimaginable past. These ruins and objects are the few clues we have to reconstruct a lost history that, if true, radically changes what we think we know about human development. These ancient remnants seem to whisper of a time when knowledge was abundant but, for unknown reasons, was almost entirely erased from history. The complexity and precision of the constructions and astronomical knowledge possessed by these civilizations suggest a level of development much higher than what is conventionally attributed to them. If there was indeed an advanced civilization before the flood, these structures and the knowledge that remains are proof of its greatness. Each archaeological discovery is like a piece of an ancient puzzle, and the image that begins to emerge is of a past much brighter and more sophisticated than we had imagined. This alternative view of history proposes that humanity may have achieved high levels of knowledge and sophistication in the distant past, only to lose it all in a global event. At the same time, this perspective encourages us to look more closely at ancient traditions, as they may hold the key to unraveling this mystery. The idea that pre-flood civilizations had advanced levels of technology is fascinating and challenging. Conventional archaeologists and historians often limit their understanding of these people's abilities to what was possible with rudimentary stone and metal tools. However, certain archaeological evidence and artifacts challenge this view. Some theories suggest that these ancient peoples might have developed advanced technologies that were lost due to the flood or other cataclysmic events, technologies that not only facilitated monumental constructions but also involved alternative energy sources and sophisticated scientific and mathematical knowledge. One of the most discussed theories about pre-flood civilizations is the possibility that they used forms of non-conventional energy. Some researchers believe these people might have discovered energy sources that were forgotten over time. In the case of the pyramids of Giza, for example, there is a theory that the Great Pyramid was not just a tomb but a structure designed to capture and transmit energy. Proponents of the pyramid as an energy generator theory suggest that the pyramid's internal structure, materials, and even location could indicate it was designed to manipulate Earth's electromagnetic field. According to this theory, the pyramid would function as an antenna or energy device, generating a type of energy still unknown to us. At Puma Punku, the precision of the stone blocks, with millimeter-perfect cuts and holes, has led some researchers to speculate about the use of high-tech tools. To make such precise cuts in hard stones, a type of tool similar to diamond saws or electric drills would be necessary, technologies that supposedly did not exist at the time. Some researchers believe that these people might have developed cutting and polishing technologies for stones that were lost and that possibly involved the use of crystals or other substances to facilitate the process. Another theory suggests they may have used a technique based on sound vibrations to alter the molecular structure of stone, making it easier to cut and shape. The sound technology hypothesis is especially interesting. According to this theory, ancient civilizations may have discovered how to use sound frequencies to move and shape large stone blocks. There is some scientific basis for this idea, as modern studies show that sound at certain frequencies can affect matter in extraordinary ways. Experiments with acoustic levitation have demonstrated that small objects can be lifted using only high-frequency sound waves. This raises the hypothesis that pre-flood civilizations might have mastered a similar technique, applying it on a large scale to move the colossal stones we see at sites like Baalbek in Lebanon, where stone blocks weighing over 1,000 tons were transported and positioned precisely. Another fascinating area involves the astronomical knowledge of these civilizations. As mentioned earlier, sites like Stonehenge, Tidon, and Nabta Playa are precisely aligned with astronomical events like solstices, indicating that the builders had a sophisticated understanding of solar, lunar, and stellar cycles. The advanced astronomical knowledge theory suggests that these civilizations observed the sky not just for religious purposes but also to map time and predict celestial phenomena. At Teotihuacan, for example, the astronomical alignments of the pyramids and the city's main axis indicate that there was a precise knowledge of solar cycles and geographic orientation. This astronomical knowledge could have been used for agricultural purposes, as many of these cultures relied on observing the sky to determine the right time for planting and harvesting. However, some researchers propose that these civilizations' astronomical understanding went beyond agriculture and geographical orientation. Theories suggest that these peoples might have perceived cosmic patterns and the influence of celestial bodies on human behavior and the terrestrial environment, something many ancient traditions mention. This hypothesis aligns with the idea that these civilizations saw the cosmos as an extension of their own world and may have tried to align their constructions to capture cosmic energies or honor certain stars. Advanced metallurgy technologies also challenge traditional knowledge. Ancient artifacts, like the Iron Pillar of Delhi, which remains resistant to corrosion even after thousands of years, suggest that ancient peoples had advanced knowledge of metal manipulation. Although dated to a period after the flood, this pillar and other alloy artifacts found in regions like Mesopotamia indicate that these peoples had techniques that prevented natural wear on metals. This could indicate a continuity of metallurgical traditions that perhaps date back to a pre-flood era, suggesting that these technologies were passed down through the ages. Beyond physical technologies, there is also evidence that these civilizations possessed advanced knowledge of mathematics and geometry. Many ancient structures, such as the pyramids and temples found in various parts of the world, show geometric proportions and alignments that follow complex mathematical principles, like the golden ratio and the number pi. The precision of these calculations suggests that pre-flood civilizations may have developed advanced mathematics to design and construct their monumental structures. In some cultures, geometric knowledge was so advanced that they could calculate the movement of celestial bodies and even predict eclipses, something only possible with highly precise measuring instruments and an advanced understanding of physics. The theory of ancient civilizations as electromagnetic civilizations suggests that these peoples had a deep understanding of natural forces like magnetism and electricity and may have developed methods to channel these energies for practical purposes. The presence of magnetic minerals at certain archaeological sites and the use of stones with electrical properties in ancient constructions have led researchers to propose that these civilizations might have been exploring electromagnetic phenomena. The theory posits that understanding these energies not only enabled advanced construction techniques, but may have also facilitated the transportation of heavy materials or even communication over long distances. Legends of gods who brought knowledge to humanity, found across various ancient cultures, also fuel theories of advanced technology. In Egypt, Thoth is often described as the god of knowledge, writing, and science, with stories linking him to knowledge of astronomy and mathematics that he supposedly taught to humans. In Mesoamerican civilizations, Quetzalcoatl is seen as a civilizing god who brought knowledge of astronomy, agriculture, and the arts. These accounts suggest that ancient peoples might have been in contact with a culture or being from another location. Some even speculate that these gods are memories of advanced cultures that survived the flood and passed on their knowledge to later societies. These theories, while controversial, gain traction as more evidence emerges, pointing to the possibility that the technical and scientific knowledge of pre-flood civilizations was far more advanced than we currently believe. This perspective prompts us to reflect on the fragility of civilization and how knowledge can be lost in a short span of time. What happened to these technologies? How could they have disappeared so completely that only fragments remain? The idea that ancient civilizations achieved high levels of technical and scientific sophistication before disappearing makes us question our own trajectory. Considering these theories and evidence, we are invited to view the past not as a simple, continuous evolutionary line but as a series of cycles in which knowledge is developed and then lost. What else might lie hidden beneath layers of sediment, waiting to tell us a forgotten story? Despite the fascinating evidence and theories surrounding pre-flood civilizations, interpreting these remnants is no simple task. Archaeologists, historians, and scientists face obstacles ranging from technological limitations and preservation challenges to academic resistance toward accepting alternative theories. This chapter addresses the main challenges in interpreting this evidence, exploring how and why our understanding of these advanced civilizations remains limited. The first major challenge is the deterioration of materials over time. Many artifacts and structures that could provide valuable insights into pre-flood civilizations have been completely destroyed by erosion, natural phenomena, and millennia of sediment deposition. When dealing with constructions and objects that date back thousands or even tens of thousands of years, we must consider that most of them did not withstand the test of time. Only the most robust remnants, like massive stone blocks and structures buried in protected geological layers, have survived. Even among the artifacts discovered, many are so damaged that it is challenging to decipher their functions or understand their true purpose. Another challenge is the lack of written documentation or detailed historical records of these ancient civilizations. Writing, as conventional archaeology understands it, emerged in relatively recent human history. Civilizations like the Sumerians and Egyptians developed writing systems about 5,000 years ago, but if advanced civilizations existed long before this, it is likely we lack textual records of their lives, practices, and beliefs. This documentary void complicates interpretation, as researchers must rely solely on physical evidence and assumptions to attempt to reconstruct the context of these societies. Furthermore, there is the issue of limitations in dating techniques such as radiocarbon dating, which, while useful for many artifacts, has its restrictions. Radiocarbon dating, for example, can only be applied to organic materials and has a limit of about 50,000 years. For older objects or those made of materials like stone or metal, other dating methods must be used, which are often less precise. This leads to contradictory interpretations and makes it challenging to create an exact timeline for events that may have occurred in pre-flood times. Beyond technological limitations, there is a significant obstacle in academic interpretations due to institutional bias. Archaeology and history are fields built on well-established paradigms and assumptions, and new findings that challenge these foundations often face resistance from the scientific community. Alternative theories suggesting the existence of advanced civilizations before the flood are frequently rejected or marginalized. This occurs because science largely relies on cumulative models, and any theory that goes against the consensus requires convincing evidence. Researchers proposing theories about ancient advanced civilizations often struggle to obtain funding or academic credibility, further hindering progress in these studies. Another challenge in interpreting pre-flood evidence is the paradox of advanced knowledge in primitive times. Many theories that suggest sophisticated technology or astronomical knowledge in ancient civilizations seem to contradict the technological evolution we know. Explaining how these people could have developed skills that would only be rediscovered millennia later is a complex task, often leading to speculation and controversial theories. For traditional archaeology, it is difficult to justify the presence of technologies or techniques that do not fit within the accepted timeline. As a result, many of these findings are explained as anachronisms or interpreted as the underestimated abilities of ancient peoples. The subjective interpretation of evidence also complicates investigations. In studying ancient civilizations, especially when remnants are scarce, interpretation often relies on assumptions and comparisons with other cultures. This opens the door for different specialists to present varied interpretations of the same artifact or structure. For example, the pyramids in Egypt and other locations worldwide may be seen as mere tombs and monuments, or, according to some alternative theories, as energy devices or celestial maps. The lack of consensus reflects the difficulty of interpreting these remnants objectively. Another important aspect is the impact of geopolitics and indiscriminate archaeological exploration. In regions marked by conflict and instability, such as the Middle East and parts of Asia, access to archaeological sites may be restricted or even impossible. Many sites, like Göbekli Tepe itself, were only recently discovered due to limited research in the region. In other cases, excessive exploration and uncontrolled excavation have contributed to the destruction of sites and artifacts, making accurate interpretation of these remnants even more difficult. Despite these challenges, advances in modern technology are helping to overcome some of these barriers. Methods such as LiDAR scanning technology, light detection and ranging, and satellite image analysis allow archaeologists to explore densely vegetated or inaccessible areas, revealing the presence of ancient cities and structures without the need for traditional excavation. These new technological tools are contributing to discoveries of sites that were previously invisible, providing new clues about the past and fueling theories about civilizations that may have existed before the flood. Additionally, ancient DNA studies in human remains are offering new insights into the genetics and migration patterns of ancient peoples, helping to reconstruct possible connections between civilizations. These analyses can reveal common genetic traits among distant populations, suggesting cultural contacts that might support the theory of a global or interconnected civilization. Luminescence dating technology, which measures the last time certain minerals were exposed to light, is also providing an alternative for dating non-organic artifacts and structures, helping to fill gaps in the timeline. These advances not only enable new discoveries but are also paving the way for the field of archaeology to be more open to evidence that was previously rejected or underestimated. As new techniques emerge and interpretations evolve, there is a possibility that theories once considered controversial or speculative may be reconsidered. Archaeology is a dynamic field, where each new discovery can change our understanding of the past, and the quest for the truth about pre-flood civilizations is an invitation to explore these frontiers of knowledge. Human history may be far more complex and dynamic than we imagined. If these peoples truly existed, endowed with scientific, astronomical, and technological knowledge, our linear view of human evolution needs to be reconsidered. Instead of simple gradual progress, history may have been marked by cycles of rise and fall, where knowledge was developed, preserved, and then lost due to cataclysmic events. These reflections raise fundamental questions about the nature of civilization and the fragility of human knowledge. If advanced civilizations flourished before the flood and were destroyed by natural catastrophes, it indicates that even humanity's greatest achievements can disappear quickly under the impact of events beyond human control. Monuments like the pyramids and stone temples have withstood time, but the exact knowledge of their functions and the methods used to build them may have been lost forever. Moreover, these possibilities invite us to reflect on humanity's resilience and adaptability. Is the knowledge lost by one civilization completely erased, or are fragments preserved and passed on? Oral traditions, myths, and legends of civilizing gods may echo a time when advanced knowledge was shared. However, without written records and clear documentation, these memories are filtered and interpreted by subsequent cultures, resulting in the legends and myths we now consider mere stories. The investigation of these civilizations also provokes reflection on the future. What can we learn from the potential cycle of development and destruction in the past? If the ancients indeed developed a deep understanding of natural forces, It might serve as a reminder of the importance of balancing innovation with sustainability. The fall of advanced civilizations may have been caused by both natural forces and a lack of harmony with the environment, something that could also be relevant to our current civilization. These patterns of rise and fall serve as a warning about the fragility of what we build and encourage us to protect and value knowledge so that it is not lost again. The study of pre-flood civilizations shows us that we are only beginning to understand the extent of human potential and the legacy of our ancestors. Every new discovery, theory, and debate about these hidden civilizations leads us to question the very essence of what it means to be civilized. If human history is indeed marked by cycles, then what we consider primitive might actually be the shadow of a lost golden age where humanity had already achieved extraordinary feats. What else could be hidden, waiting to be rediscovered? What other traces of advanced civilizations lie buried in layers of sediment or submerged in the depths of the oceans, waiting to rewrite what we know about the past? As we expand our investigations, we look to the future with newfound respect and humility for the past. Perhaps the true story of humanity is yet to be revealed, in pieces of stone, ancient myths, and fragments of a forgotten time. An incomplete yet intriguing story that challenges our imagination and reminds us that there is still much to discover. If you found these possibilities intriguing, share your thoughts and questions in the comments. Do you believe that advanced civilizations truly existed before everything was destroyed by the flood? Or do you think human technology and knowledge evolved more gradually? We're curious to hear your opinions and what you think of these ideas. Each perspective brings a new piece to the puzzle, and you can help enrich this discussion with your view. If you enjoyed this content, remember to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss upcoming videos. We'll be exploring many more ancient themes, archaeological mysteries, and theories that challenge conventional knowledge. We aim to keep bringing videos that question history, inspire curiosity, and encourage us to think beyond established narratives. With your subscription and support, we can continue producing more investigative and thought-provoking content like this. Thank you for joining this journey and for being part of this quest for answers. Humanity's past is vast and full of mysteries, and each of you is an essential part of this exploration. Keep following our channel and remember, the knowledge we seek today is the legacy we leave for the future.